All right, we're back. I just realized I was wearing my jacket the whole time, but it's a little cold out, so whatever. Um, we are live with the UFC. What is up, everybody? We are live. Aaron the Dog here with the UFC Vegas 65 full card betting breakdown, headlined by Sergey Spivac versus Derrick Lewis. Hopefully, it doesn't go 5 rounds because have mercy on our souls if it does. Already got a few people in the comments, Papa Chuck, MMA Wagers, talking back and forth about the main event. Excited to see Spivac retire Lewis, maybe. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we're going to just go through this. It's just me here, as you can see. Got 12 fights to talk about. This isn't the best of fight cards. I'll be honest. I'll talk about these fights as much as I can, give you my thoughts, and we'll call it a day. We're starting in the 125-pound division with two very young up-and-comers, Natalia Silva and Teresa Bleda here. Could be, discovery of a new prospect, maybe. Who knows? But Natalie Silva, more known as a Taekwondo style fighter, but definitely had good jiu-jitsu or good volume as well. What up, Kels? Good to see you here. Taking on Teresa Bleda, still young, 20 years old for the Chechnyan here. Turns 21 in a couple weeks. Good physical wrestler. 5'9" to the 5'4" Natalia Silva. Gonna have a 6-inch reach advantage as well. Known as Ronda. It's who got her into it. Ronda Rousey is who was her inspiration growing up. Very physical fighter. Handled their business. Naira Maia on their fight card, although she was a minus 600 favorite here. And what up, Moise? The carousel is in effect here. And Bleda, 20 years old. She's just, the type of fighter who she's going to get better and better as she goes. Right now, her stand-up is good, is decent because she has power, but honestly, Natalia Silva is going to eat her up if it stays on the feet. On the feet, Natalia really, really showed her worth in her debut against Jasmine Jasarvidius, where she was a plus 200 underdog. Somehow she outstruck her like 3-1 in that fight. Just looked really, really good. Bleda is going to improve a lot as it goes around. Both these girls are very good. It's actually a sneaky good way to start this fight card. I see a lot of people with Silva, a lot of people Bleda. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to edge towards Bleda. I think that the physical wrestling can get her home here. Natalia Silva, if she keeps on the feet, she's going to have a lot of success, though. I get both sides here, but give me Bleda by a decision. I just think that wrestling is just going to be too much. And I think that the odds are going to be a little bit overcorrected, if I'm not mistaken, getting to it now. For Natalia Silva, she is a minus 165 to a minus 170 favorite, plus 145 on Bleda here. I think that Bleda's size is going to help her a lot. Her strength is going to be a big key. She's going to ground her for 3 rounds, in my opinion. So give me the dog and Bleda in the first fight of the night. Next fight. 135 pounds, Fernie Garcia versus Brady Highstand. I love me some LFA, man, but I'll be honest, Fernie Garcia is not a guy who I was ever too crazy about in the LFA. The plus 800 or plus 8,000 draw is absolutely live for me as well. And the biggest chunk, the height might not make a difference. She's just going to be bigger, though, Justin. It's not just, and then she came back after 3 years and beat JJ pillar to post. I get it, but I don't know how good JJ is either. But in this fight, Ferdy Garcia, pretty much a pure boxer. He doesn't do a lot else. Doesn't mix up his grappling that well. His takedown defense is so-so. Doesn't throw kicks. Doesn't defend kicks well at all. Brady Highstand has been off since the Ultimate Fighter against Ricky Turcios. Had a really good Ultimate Fighter fight there. Also had some pretty solid wins on his way in the Ultimate Fighter. Before the Ultimate Fighter, he was beating 0-2, 0-0, 0-4, 0-6. Got knocked out by Chad Allinger in the third round of their fight. Then beat an 0-12 fighter, but then beat Josh Reddinghouse and Vince Murdoch on the contenders or on the Ultimate Fighter. Knocked out Vince Murdoch pretty cleanly in that one. Ricky Turcios fought to a good decision here. Fernie just has been talking about how he's been thinking about retirement before. His Contender Series win, which was over an overweight Josh Reams. Brady's going to be just too big here. I look forward to seeing how much he's improved with the time off. But yeah, I like Brady all day in this fight. For me, Fernie is just way too one-dimensional, and I kind of question a little bit of his desire and drive. Fortis MMA, not my favorite camp either. So that Fortis MMA parlay, I'm gonna pass on. Aaron the Goat for all the early MMA prediction shows. One of the hardest workers in the biz. Respect, my friend. Thank you, Lance. I appreciate that. And I'm not a fan of the last UFC Ultimate Fighter cast. So like Heistan, unless he's going to turn into Colby, you got Petrosky, Pooh Bear, and a lot of nails in that cast. Yeah, I like Brady Highstand in this spot quite a bit. I think he's got a decent shot to submit Fernie Garcia, but also keep it on the feet, use his length, and use his leg kicks. Fernie has shown that to be an issue. So give me Brady Highstand in this spot here. Was thinking about Fernie as an underdog for a little bit, but the more I looked into this, the less I liked Fernie Garcia. Brady minus 165. I think that's bang on, plus 140 on the underdog and Fernie Garcia. Give me Brady here, but he has been off for over a year, and I'm interested to see here. Next fight, we got the Spider Girl, Maria Oliveira, taking on Vanessa Demopoulos here. This is a striker versus grappler here. Can Vanessa get the fight to the ground is the real question. I don't really trust her takedown ability, and on the feet, she gets marked up and hit a lot. Maria Oliveira has a 9-inch reach advantage coming into this fight. She's lost to a good level of competition. In the fight she's lost, she's been grounded, though. If she is trouble with the takedowns or if Vanessa is able to pull guard, get this into a grappling situation, Vanessa can submit her for sure. I think Maria keeps it on the feet for the most part. This is a pretty boring decision. I think the 9 inches of reach is way too much. So give me Maria Oliveira in the spot. No, I'm not betting it too heavily. But Spider Girl, I will take minus 115 currently to the minus 105 of Vanessa Demopoulos. So will Vanessa sub her, or will Maria kind of keep the fight on the feet where she has the advantage? I think Maria and the 9 inches of reach are going to be too much for Vanessa here, and edges out a decision here. Silva Gomez Juarez was marking up Vanessa before she got that submission as well. But should be an interesting fight. Vanessa's losses 4 by decision, 3 to McKenna, including to McKenna and Aldrich on short notice up a weight class, and 1 majority to Lupi. Lost by KO to Chukagian and the amateurs as well. Frey beat Vanessa. Yeah, I agree. On DK, Heidstead money line and over 1.5, minus 110, money line over 2.5, plus 130. I think both those are interesting ones to take as well. Next fight is at bantamweight. Ricky Turcios, Ultimate Fighter winner, who went on to then lose to Ayman Zahabi. So how good is he? Taking on Kevin Natividad. Kevin Natividad hasn't won a fight in about 2 years. Pretty rough go of it in the UFC so far. For Quicksand here, 9-3 overall. However, for the predominant wrestler, got knocked out by Miles Johns, got knocked out by Danan Bachari as well. Hasn't won since Kyle Estrada, where he knocked him out in the second round of their fight. Typically as a wrestler, man, and has really fallen in love with the stand-up to a fault so far in his UFC career. If he does this here with Ricky Turcios, he's going to make Ricky Turcios look way better than he is. Ricky Turcios coming off that loss to Zahabi, where Zahabi really started to put the pressure on Turcios, and you saw Turcios have a lot of trouble with it. Very inaccurate with the striking. I believe it was like 27 of 230 or something. It was just, he was hitting air the entire fight. For me, if Kevin stays on the feet, though, Ricky is going to be able to start to mix this fight up when he wants to mix it up and kind of cruise a little bit. The Daniel Arguda fight was a good indication, but Daniel Arguda, not a good guy on the feet, and was tagging up Ricky a lot in that fight. Ricky takes a lot of damage. Kevin has good power, but I think Kevin needs to avoid that and just use his wrestling. Either way, I don't like Ricky Turcios very much, based off that last fight, but Kevin Natividad is there to be hit. I think even if he uses his wrestling early, I don't trust he uses it throughout. So I'll take Ricky Tercios. Maybe he drops the first round and then wins a decision, but I'll edge towards Ricky Tercios. I really, really wanted to go with Kevin Natividad, however. So, yeah, I agree with Kelly here. Fade this fight. Pass, pass, pass. So we are moving on to the next one. Next fight here is also at bantamweight. So back-to-back bantamweight fights here. Miles Johns, we just mentioned, taking on Vince Morales. Miles Johns taking this fight on short notice. So right away, big bright red flag for me because Miles Johns has gas issues. He's taking this fight on short notice. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried in this fight. Vince Morales, a guy I have trouble really reading, very, very solid wrestler, decent on the feet, keeps a good pace throughout. He's fought a good level of competition so far in his UFC debut career. 11-6 overall, coming off a loss last May to Jonathan Martinez. No shame in that, but Martinez even got the takedowns going in that one. Before that, 2 straight wins, a win over Draco Rodriguez, did what he needed to get the decision using the wrestling, and then had a really nice knockout of Luis Smolka, clean knockout as well. Losing to Chris Gutierrez and then Benito Lopez as well. Does have a win over Ayman Zahabi, lost to Yadong Song. It's really all over the place for Vince Morales. It's hard to see so far, really say so far what you're going to get out of him. Miles Johns, Chapo here, 12-2. 28 years old, coming off of a loss to John Castaneda, where, again, third round cardio fell off a cliff. He was put away by John. Not a great loss as it's gone. As long as Johns paces himself, he wins. But short notice worries me a lot. And I just think this is another really, interesting close fight. I think if Miles was on a full camp, I would be going with him quite comfortably here. With this being the case, I do think Vince Morales can make this quite the fight and drag Miles into deeper waters. But I just think Miles pulls it out here. I think Miles gets the decision. I'm gonna think that he's gonna be in good shape and win and taking this fight if he wasn't ready. So I got Miles by decision, but I'm nervous to short notice. This fight was announced on November 5th, so not even a couple weeks ago. And Miles Johns having trouble. Yeah, I'm passing as well. But I will take Miles Johns officially. Minus 165, plus 140 on Vince Morales. I think Vince is a live dog here, but again, the short notice is what's really clouding my judgment, maybe. Next fight here, 125, Maria Moros versus Jennifer Maia. What is there to say about this fight? God. I mean, Moros is just, she's good on the feet. She can keep good volume. But Jennifer Maia should be able to mix it up, use the takedowns, use her strength, and just control this fight on the ground. Fight goes the distance is my only play. Jennifer Maia would be my pick. So that's all I got to say about this fight. If you have a read on it, congratulations. That's more than that. I don't. Jennifer Maia, plus 155 all of a sudden. Maria Moros is minus 180. They're trying to get me to bet Jennifer Maia. I'm not going to do that, but fight goes the distance. This is a nasty one. The odds definitely are strange in that one. We're in 125 again for the featured prelim. However, this featured prelim is the male flyweight division with Zhalgas Zhumagulus against Charles Johnson. Should be a very good fight here. I love me some LFA. Charles Johnson, LFA flyweight champion, had a tough go of it with Makayev in the first one around. Now taking on a much more winnable opponent in Zhalgas Zhumagulov here. But Zhalgas, is going to, really crowd the space of Charles Johnson. Can Charles use the movement, use his slick boxing, use his slick Muay Thai to mark up Zhalgas and win a decision? I think it's going to be a really good fight, but I think the way that Zhalgas fights is, quite difficult for a lot of guys. Like in this 125 division, even though he's 1-4, I just think he's much better than that. But this is a fight that I think is going to be very, very close. As the more I think about it, initially I was on Zalga Zumagulov myself. It looks like a lot of people are as well. The split play, I think, is definitely a good play in this spot. I agree with Kelly. This is going to be a close fight. You're going to have the volume of Charles Johnson. At times, you're going to have the space and him looking really good. And then other times, I think Zalgas is going to be able to crowd, take down, and, just kind of work Charles and eliminate that reach disadvantage. I've been back and forth. I think Zalgas is a really good underdog play. I love Charles Johnson as well. But Zumagulov being 1-4, not cut from the UFC, he's had great moments in these fights. And I think this is a great fight. It could be a split decision. I play the split either side, but I hate to say it, I'm going against my LFA flyweight champion in Charles Johnson. I got Zalga Zumagulov to go to 2-4 in the UFC. I think he's going to pressure Charles and maybe get some takedowns as this fight goes. So, yeah. I mean, Charles had no answer for Makayev. That's true, but Zalgas ain't Makayev. So, but we'll see. We'll see how the wrestling looks here. I saw someone's head moving. I was like, Aaron, you the man, you dog, but it's literally your dog. Yeah, this is Pomp. It's a 130-pound Newfoundland golden doodle. He's the man. It's a good dog. I got a couple dogs though, but yeah, either way, I got Zumagulov by decision, but play the split on both sides. I don't mind that play either. And Charles winning, I would love to be wrong on that one. Not that I like being wrong, but that's one I'd be okay being wrong on. Beginning of the main card, starting with Jack Della Maddalena, not Jack Della Marsh. I don't know why I called him that on the last stream, but sorry about that. Jack Della, I'll just go by here. Taking on Danny Roberts. I love me some Jack Della, man. He has looked really, really good. Good power. Any Invicta predictions by chance for tonight, Lance? I'll be honest, I did not do any tape on Invicta. The odds came out pretty late. I've also been away this weekend, so I'm not going to go there. But anybody in the chat who has their thoughts on Invicta, share them, and I will definitely display them. But I'm not going to chase you up a wrong tree, Lance, by lying and saying I do here because I really haven't looked into it. But Zalgas ain't Makayev, but Zalgas has heavier hips. Yep. DK has a split play you can play without having to take a side now. But yeah, Danny Roberts, Jack Della here. I love Jack Della in this spot. I think that this is a great opportunity for him. UFC Rookie of the Year for me is Jack Della here. Danny Roberts, hot chocolate, 18-6, 35 years old now. So 35 versus 26. 6'1", 74-inch reach, coming off that loss to Trinaldo. That told me all I needed to know about Danny Roberts. That was my chance to really. I trusted Danny. I picked Danny. I bet Danny in that spot, and he failed me. So I really can't trust him anymore. The Imiev fight was a split decision. We saw how Jack handled Ramazan. Imadiev, again, I'm not going to rate you beating Zalim too highly. Knocked out by Pereira, put away by Claudio Silva. Jack Della is going to put on a performance of the night performance here. He started out 0-2 with 2 knockouts, I believe, Ryan, as well. But yeah, this to me just feels like a complete setup for Jack Della. He's going to look really good in this spot. He's been in the Apex before, and I think he gets another finish here. Minus 450 on Jack Della, plus 330 on Danny Roberts. Oh my goodness, that is crazy, crazy odds though. But I hate to say it, it's accurate. Jack Della is going to roll in this one, but I'm sad the odds are so accurate. Sometimes it makes me sad. Next fight at 170, back-to-back 170 fights here. But yeah, I like Jack Della all day in that spot. He really is a lock. I would agree. Next fight at 170, Muslim Salikov taking on a guy who really disappointed me in the last go-around with Jake Matthews and Andre Fiallo. Jake Matthews just absolutely put on a beating against Fiallo. Fiallo was walking into every shot there. It was just really, really hard to see. So, but, and then you look back and Andre Fiallo, 28 years old, but been in a lot of wars, man. 16-5, puts on a good, good pace as well. Puts on good power. He lost to Pereira in the debut before knocking out Miguel Baeza, and then Cameron Van Camp. But even in both those fights, took a lot of shots, got bloody. Even in his fight with James Vick, he did take some shots before putting Vick away in the second round of that. So Fialho, 10 fights in 2 years here, and a ton of wars along the way as well. Got knocked out pretty handily by Jake Matthews. Never seen Matthews look that good. Only 5 months ago, coming back so soon against another hard hitter in Muslim Salikov. Muslim Salikov getting knocked out 4 months ago by Li Jingliang. So both guys coming off very hard knockouts as well. Muslim, a hard hitter, but throws a low volume. Often has trouble connecting with, quicker opponents. But to me, Fialho's going to go in there and go to war like he always does, and he's either going to finish or be finished. And Muslim doesn't get finished on the feet. He gets finished on the ground with jiu-jitsu. I think if you get into a phone and tell Li Jingliang, who took him down and finished him there still, I think it's going to be a phone booth type of war. If it goes to a decision, I could see it getting close, but I think that Muslim catches Andre Fialho along the way here. So I got Muslim by KO here. Nearly 200 fights in kickboxing as well. And Fialho's just taking too many shots here. To me, I just think that Fialho, the wars are catching up. He wants to fight as much as he can. He talked about being in his late 20s and wanting to be active and stacking checks. He just wants to bang. So, he definitely can put anybody away. But Muslim, I just think, is a little bit better. Muslim wrestles him early to slow down, pieces him up later. Okay, that could be too. Either way, I like Muslim in this spot. Both guys coming off rough knockouts. But when you make Jake Matthews look that good, it really does worry me a little bit. -115 to Salikov, -105 to Fialho. Very good matchup, very close as well. Split play in line as well for this one, possibly, or the draw. I mean, it's a very close one. So interesting. Third from the top, Chase Sherman, Waldo Cortez Acosta. I don't know what to really say about this. Yeah, 10-year age difference. That's a good point for Fialho and Muslim. But Fialho has like 10 years worth of damage on him too. Chase Sherman, Waldo Cortez Acosta, heavyweights here. This is gonna get ugly. I think I don't exactly love what I've seen of Waldo so far. I get he's undefeated, predominantly a boxer. Doesn't matter, chalky 5-piece money line, you got it. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Salsa Boy, 8-0 coming into this fight, 1-0 in the UFC, beating Jared Vanderaa in that fight. Looked okay, didn't really blow me away. The fights leading up to it, Daniel Suzart and Thomas Peterson, both guys with pretty much no gas and what I don't really know. And Waldo took a whole lot of leg kicks. He's pretty much a pure boxer as well. Chase Sherman, very willing to throw leg kicks as well. I think Chase Sherman will look to possibly even mix it up in this fight. But throwing the leg kicks, staying on his bike, I think is a big key for Chase, frustrating the boxing style of Waldo in this fight. Chase Sherman, he's not great, but he's coming off that win of Jared Vanderaa, and at least he finished him. 4-9 in the UFC, somehow sticking around. Before that, lost 4 straight to Andrei Arlovski, Parker Porter, Jake Collier, and Alexander Romanov. Win over Villanueva and Vanderaa. He beats that level. Is Waldo above that level? I don't know. I think that Chase Sherman is going to leg kick him, and then, I think those legs are compromised, and Waldo may be more able to be taken down, controlled. Chase Sherman has experience here. I think Chase Sherman's my dog here. Chase Sherman is my pick. +180, I think, is a maddening line. And, I think that Chase Sherman, he's not great, but he's better than Waldo Cortez Acosta. So give me the dog and Chase Sherman at +180, and I need a shower. Next fight, co-main event. This is what a weird UFC card. Jan Kutalaba taking on Kennedy Nzechukwu. This is going to be an all-out war in the first round. Jan's probably going to pour everything into it. Either Jan gets the finish in the first round, or he falls off a cliff after that, and Kennedy just starts to lay it on. I personally think Kennedy starts to lay it on. And I think that, Kennedy's shown he started to really develop the other parts of his game. He had a finish from back mount last time against Carl Roberson. And, is this the time? Kennedy by sub has been my play all week. I'm not going to lie. Kennedy by sub is still my play. Plus 1,100 for the sub, plus 2,500 in the second round, plus 3,800 in the third round. Those are my plays. Kennedy is developing. He's way more athletic. He's got a better gas tank. He's got to survive an early fire, and then he wins this. Showed it against Ulberg. Ulberg is better than Jan Kutalapa, probably. So Kennedy Njoku by submission. So give me Njoku with that 4-figure submission number. Let's go. Let's take a shot. Minus 165. I love that as well. Plus 135 on Jan. Jan is KO or bust in round 1. And hopefully Kennedy doesn't do the job. I agree. Jan, third most takedowns landed in the UFC history, which is surprising. High takedown accuracy as well. So maybe he does, maybe he likes to wrestle, but he can't wrestle for 15 minutes. So, and then you like the over 1.5 for Waldo, Kennedy, and Fiallo fights? Yes, I do. I do like the overs for those Haka quite a bit. But the only way Jan wins is under 1.5, in my opinion. Speaking of under 1.5, Derrick Lewis and Sergey Spivac is our main event here. Wow. This is something. Is Derrick Lewis done? That's the question. If he loses this fight, he absolutely is. But in general, Derrick Lewis just loses to better, harder hitters. And Sergey Spivac is not that. Derrick Lewis is tough to take down. He's tough to keep down. When Derrick Lewis decides he's up, he gets up. To me, I could go through both these guys' records and everything, but I'm not going to. Point deduction is still plus 2,000 for Kennedy versus Jan, and the draw is a plus 5,000. They know what's up. They know points getting deducted, maybe a 10-8 round. There's lots of routes to the draw in the Kennedy and Jan fight. Now we talking Corey Anderson, and then Wakanda forever here with Lewis, I assume. Bo laughing about that. Yeah, Black Beast, man. He's knocking out Sergey Spivac. I'm sorry, man. Sergey Spivac is gonna have to take him down, get his back very quickly, and try to choke him out Daniel Cormier style. Otherwise, Derrick Lewis is going to get up, land his mitts on Sergey at some point in this fight. If Derrick loses this fight, Derrick retires, I think, in my opinion. Like, Derrick is not done yet, in my opinion. Has tons of good results against good wrestlers for the most part as well. And he's got that death touch, man. Sergey's been knocked out plenty of times as well. Give me Derrick Lewis by knockout. Sergey Spivac just isn't beating Derrick Lewis. So, yeah, I got Derrick Lewis here in this spot here by KO. I'm not going to get too original with it. I'm not going to waste a lot of your guys' time with it. Derrick Lewis is a plus 165 underdog. Go ahead. Like, dog money on Derrick Lewis. I got the dog. I got 2 heavyweight dogs in this as well. Spivac's lost twice by knockout. 50 seconds to Harris and to Aspinall in 220, coming on short notice. Also lost the decision to Tybura. Bo Jackson thinks Lewis gets ragdolled. Very well may be. If Lewis gets ragdolled, it's a wrap, man. So, Bo, fair enough there. I think Lewis gets the knockout here. I haven't been super accurate on Derrick Lewis fights before, such as Blades and others, but that's my thoughts on that fight. And now quick picks, just a 30-minute show here, but when it's a one person in this level of a card, it is what it is. So I'll give you my quick picks, and I'll let Zhang know a 5-piece parlay as well, because I'll do my best to do that. So I'll just mention them as I'm going here. But starting at the bottom, Natalia Silva versus Teresa Bleda. I'm going with underdog Bleda to wrestle in this spot, but good close fight. I like both ladies quite a bit. Next fight, first on my parlay, Brady Highstand. I like to just expose Fernie Garcia's game here, and I think he gets the finish. So I like Brady Highstand in this first piece of the parlay. Maria Oliveira, I like to use the 9-inch reach advantage to get a decision over Demopoulos. I do think Ricky Turcio is able to win a decision. He's just more well-rounded, better gas tank. But it is what it is. Miles Johns, I like to beat Morales by a decision, but I'm nervous about the short notice. Jennifer Maya, I'll take by decision as well. Zhalgas Zumagulov, I'll take by a decision over Charles Johnson. Maya will be my second piece on my parlay. I'll say, since I got take 5. Jack Della, third piece on the parlay. He's going to eliminate Danny Roberts pretty violently. Appreciate Bo. Appreciate the kind words there. Muslim Salikov versus Andre Fiallo. I'm going to go with Muslim Salikov here to take the decision. He is going to be the fourth piece of my parlay as well. I'll take Muslim there. Chase Sherman, I'm going to take the win decision over Waldo Cortez Acosta. Fifth piece of the parlay is going to be Kennedy Njoku over Jan Kutalaba, and I have Kennedy by submission, could be a decision as well, or a knockout, frankly. And then main event, I got Derrick Lewis as well. Listen to MMA Wagers. Check out the Bellator breakdown. I'm going to add the in the description. I'm going to add the timestamps for both these fights right after this. But yeah, that's my 5. That's my 5 piece. That's the UFC Vegas 65 breakdown show. Pomp here wants to thank you for joining us. Thank you, chat. You guys are awesome. Justin, appreciate you. Haka, appreciate you. Brandon, thank you for joining me in the chat. Maybe you could have just made it onto the breakdown here with how quick we went. Bo, appreciate you. Moist, appreciate you. Everybody, thank you so much for the support. We're on our way to 700 subscribers. I hope to, continue to do breakdowns well into 2023. We still got the LFA breakdown. I'm going to be doing that most likely tomorrow. But maybe it's today. Yeah, take good care of my pups, man. That's where all the dog money goes to the dogs, man. So gotta keep them looking good. But for Pomp, for Aaron, for Brandon, MMA Wagers, check out the Bellator breakdown now on the channel. LFA breakdown tomorrow around 2 p.m. Keep taking care of each other, everybody. Peace out. See ya. Bye.